Donald John Trump has refused to rule out his support for a 16-week nationwide abortion ban. Trump, who has said that Republicans need to be delicate with how they discuss this issue, did not directly address reports that he is privately open to imposing a federal abortion ban of 16 weeks. The Trump campaign also declined to say if Trump supports any national level abortion policy at all. Instead, they issued out this, incredibly clear statement saying, as President Trump has stated, he would sit down with both sides and negotiate a deal that everyone will be happy with. I love this stuff. I love that he always goes this, that it makes sense to anybody.
First of all, TJ, I just have to say, first of all, he did not ever say that to anyone ever. And two, I love how similar that statement is to the official U.S. policy of what is Taiwan.
George Trump's like, I'll make a deal. Like, he just throws it all. It's so funny. But so Trump's got a really interesting relationship with abortion because on the one hand, overturning Roe is absolutely crippling the Republican Party. It is the only reason that Joe Biden stands a fighting chance in this next election. But Trump knows this. He's actually smarter than a lot of Republicans on this issue, that he doesn't try to brag too much about it, but he just can't help himself. He gets on a roll. He's like, we overturned Roe, and that was on me. I put those justices on the Supreme Court. And then he backs off a little bit. So I see why he's getting cagey with this answer here, but he is in a very difficult situation. It's an unenviable one. It's one that he created, but I love seeing an asshole get his comeuppance in something like this, where it's the dog that caught the car. So I'll go ahead and throw it to you, Brando. What do you think is going on here with Trump and his trying to fix this abortion mess?
Yeah, well, what's funny, right before you said, like, he's like the dog that caught the car, that thought was going through my head. I was thinking this is where they're at. When I was growing up, I always I viewed, and I was naive, I have to be honest with y'all. I viewed the abortion issue as, I thought it was a wedge issue that Republicans used to tug at the heartstrings of Christians and evangelicals. I just thought it was something that they would always say they were going to do to appease that group of people, but they weren't actually ever going to do it. I really thought, I didn't think we would ever be there. And then they got what they wanted, and all of a sudden they've got it and they've not won since, and I think they've painted themselves in a real corner, because now how do they come out of it after painting themselves in such a corner?
It is so funny you say that, because I've had so many, especially, people who are older than me who were adults when Obama was in office. I was growing up when Obama was in office, but there were adults when Obama was up in office. And I'll be like, how come the Democrats didn't codify abortion rights when they had a 60-seat majority? And they'll be like, oh, well, they didn't need to. It wasn't under attack. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Republicans have been trying to attack abortion my entire life. And oh yeah, but they didn't really mean it back then like they do now. And it's like, no, they always meant it. You're right. It would have been dumb of them to actually do anything about it, but they always meant it, and that's why it was always so scary, and why I look back at it now being like, why didn't you guys see this coming? They said it. They said it over and over repeatedly, and genuinely the belief back then, and I completely believe it, was that, it's just both parties use this to fundraise. The status quo will remain the status quo because everyone benefits. The problem is when you have someone come through who doesn't really care about the status quo and just cares about himself and what's going to make him look good for his friends. This is what happens. And it's been well before Trump that the mechanisms of this change have been in motion, but Trump's the one that ushered it in, and that's why, as TJ's saying, he can't help but brag about it. It's the thing he did that he knows he took this massive accomplishment for the Republican Party. He did it, and he wants the credit for it so damn bad, but also he knows he can't brag about it too much. Like a dog chasing cars, except it's more like a dog who you put a treat in front of them and they're just like, I want it. I really want it. I know that he's going to take it away if I try and get it, but let me go again. And then he takes it away. And that's exactly what Trump is with this issue. And I cannot wait until he gets in front of a national stage during the debates and has to answer this question tactfully, because he won't be able to do it.
I want to point out, Brando, that this is something John likes to do, where he brings up the fact that he wasn't an adult during Obama's admission. He likes to just so you guys know, you old fucks, I wasn't even an adult back then. But I will say, listen, Brando's right though. I had the same thought. I never thought in my wildest dreams that and it's not that I didn't think they meant it, because like we've gone over this many times that the Republican Party went through a weird transition in the early 2000s in which you had, like your established politicians, your Newt Gingriches, your George Bush seniors, your what was Tom DeLay. You had these guys who were the button-up guys, the actual grown-ups who went to work. But slowly but surely, you ended up getting the Mike Huckabees and the Rick Santorums and the Sarah Palins. And then back then, we all thought, yeah, listen, I know that there's some crazy Republicans, and the Republican voters, they absolutely wanted it. Like they wanted this more than anything. But the Republican politicians were smart enough to know, okay, we're not going to do that. That's insane. Not only would it, have a huge backlash on us, but like you said, it would be taking away this great fundraising opportunity. So I thought the same thing. I thought they would never actually do it, but you get enough true believers on the Supreme Court and they're going to overturn it. And what was I going to say? I wrote this down when you're talking about how Trump really wants to take credit for it, but he can't. He's in the same way with the vaccine. I really love that too, where he's always trying to take credit for the vaccine to a like polite smattering of boos. Like, okay, but I didn't force it on you. That's pretty fun to watch. And you're talking about how, I think, John, you were mentioning how Trump isn't like super principled on any of this shit. He's just, saying what he has to say. One of my favorite moments from when Trump's first election campaign back in 2015 was when they were asking him about abortion. And they asked him, so you're against abortion, right? And of course, like, yes, he knew that much. He knew Republicans were against abortion. And then they said, okay, so if a woman has an abortion, you want the abortion doctor to be punished. Should the woman be punished as well? And Trump said, well, yeah, of course, because that answer actually does make sense. If you believe abortion is murder, why wouldn't you punish the woman who had an abortion? Like, she hired someone to kill another human being. And Trump, it's funny when Trump actually has a reasonable answer and it blows up in his face, because, yeah, that's actually what you would think. But it's just funny watching him twist and turn on this. But Brandon, like, where do you think he's going to go with this? Like, John was talking about how he can delicately answer this question. I'm curious to know how he walks this tightrope.
I don't know how he can. And you made a great point about the vaccine. The things that he really wants to take credit for the most, he really can't in certain cases. I don't know how he's going to. I really don't know how he's going to run this one, because he's going to. Of course, he's going to try to appeal to that base, but he has to have independents and moderates if he stands a chance of winning. He can't. I don't think Donald Trump wins without independents and moderates.
No chance.
How's he going to win? How's he going to win them over? Actually, what's he doing at all to win any of those people over? But you brought across a great point too when you were talking about, back in the day of like George W. Bush. I remember during the debate between him and John Kerry, they're standing up there debating abortion, and they both agreed that, they were both basically saying the same thing. It's just that John Kerry was saying, I support a woman's right to choose, and George Bush was like, I'm pro-life, but in the case of incest or rape, he always had an out for himself, and he was able to spin it that way where he could play both sides of the fence. I don't know how Trump's going to get to that point now with the corner he's in.
He's not. It's really the answer.
He's not. Yeah, he's not.
He's going to go all the. And in fact, if Biden, Biden's not the top debater we've ever had, but he's not bad at it if he's having a good day. And if I'm on the Biden campaign and I'm prepping Biden for the debate with Trump, if I was Biden, I would compliment him. I'd just be like, Donald, you did. I got to give it to you. You did such a good job. You set us up. You really pulled one over on us. You got those Supreme Court justices installed, and you accomplished a huge goal for the Republican Party in overturning Roe v. Wade. Like man to man, I just have to say I respect that, Donald. And Donald will be like, yeah, man, I totally did that. That's all me. I am Mr. No More Abortions. That's what they call me. And that is what Biden should do. He should do that for abortion.
He should.
And he should do that for fascism. And he should just go to Trump into going all the way on those issues. It shouldn't be that difficult because he clearly wants to. And as long as he can do those two things, I really don't think that you're going to have a lot of Republicans who are going to say one thing, especially women, like you said in our last segment, they'll listen to their husband complain. They'll tell the pollsters they're going to vote Republican. But when they go to vote, they know that they're on the ballot and they're going to vote for themselves. And it's not going to be for the fascist who wants to restrict their abortion access.
Yeah, I think that's a good strategy for Biden to kind of judo Trump into saying something like that, because he did that to the Republicans already a couple years ago at the State of the Union address with Social Security, if you guys remember, where he got them all to cheer for, we don't want to cut. So it's like, all right, we got that on record. So he has it in his bag of tricks. So it'd be a great thing for him to go to, because like you said, Trump, he couldn't help himself on this. I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, I agree. Because I think he should, like you said, he should do that on more issues, because just let Trump just give him the rope. Just say, here you go, and just set him up for it. Because I've often wondered what would happen. See, a lot of times when you just try to combat Trump and you try to come at him and be combative, he just muddies the water even further. But it would be hilarious to watch Biden just say, yeah, you did this, you stacked the Supreme Court, you accomplished it for the Republican Party. Oh, and yeah, you came up with the vaccine, you got it out there, if you just set him up, he would have to walk right into that.
God, imagine if we ran Biden's campaign, how much better it would have been. Like, I just imagine it'd be going right now. Just like, oh man, it's an opportunity wasted.
I've always said I never want the responsibility of being president, but doing a presidential debate would be so much fun. It would be so much. All right, let's end it there. Justin, you can probably end it before I said that last tidbit. It's kind of non sequitur, but
we forgot to do the bump at the end of the show for the
plug.
That's true. The plug.
Yeah, let's do that now. So we forgot it last time too, TJ.
Yeah, no, we get on a roll, man. This is a good time. This is
it's funny because I never make it all the way to the end, because I usually just like watch while I listen while I'm like doing the thumbnail and the description and everything, and so I rarely ever get all the way through to the end, so I totally just forget about it too. But okay, cool. Yeah, let's do that. I'll start. Brand, I'm going to throw to you. You're going to say, hey, you can find me at XYZ, wherever people can find you.
Okay.
And then TJ will take over once you're done, and he'll finish us off. Congratulations, guys. You made it to the end of the episode, and you know what that means. You personally are my favorite viewer because you helped us out in the algorithm, and I am sure you're already subscribed and click that like button, but make sure to do that if you haven't already. And you know what else you should do? You should definitely check out our excellent guest, Tennessee Brando. Brando, tell our audience where they can find you.
You can find me on YouTube and Facebook as Tennessee Brando. On the TikTok app and Instagram, I am TN_Brando. So that's where everyone can find me.
Thanks so much, guys. Folks, John was not kidding. You really are his favorite viewer. I checked earlier. Your medal is actually in the mail. So, go outside and look for it, but not before liking, commenting, subscribing, and sharing this content with your friends, family, and loved ones. We would appreciate it.